You're listening to the Next Team podcast. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Next Team Cricket, episode 15. I'm joined today by Tarun and Arjun. I'm quite happy to welcome both of them back, especially Tarun, who has spent some time away from the podcast, which is quite unlike him. But yeah, glad to have you
Had to
both.
spend some time on the benches.
Absolutely, yes. You can
But I'm
bring
back
it
in the
to
first
most-
team, boys.
Yep. And so the reason why we are gathered today for the episode is to actually discuss the best possible 11 for India's T20 team heading into the World Cup in Australia. So before we discuss that, let's get our usual message man, who is back in the first team, to tell us a few messages.
Yes, guys, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, thank you all so much for all your support and love that you've shown us. And please do follow us on Instagram. We are there at the Next Team SG. And this is where you can stay updated with whatever new stuff that we're doing and whatever we're posting. And also do check us out on TikTok. We are also there at the Next Team SG. And this is where we're posting snippets and highlights from our videos. And also, while you're at it, please do subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Spotify. We are on both these places as the Next Team podcast. And all our links will be in our descriptions. Back to you, Vikas.
Thank you, Tarun. And without further ado, let's get into it, boys. So, of course, we've done an episode like this before. Our loyal TNT fans should know. If you haven't watched it, you can check it out, of course. And so this is going to be a lot. I presume the score is going to be a lot different from what we discussed previously. Of course, a lot of new names have come up through the IPL season. So yeah, let's get into it. So let's start with our openers first. So I think first, I have a feeling we're going to have some debate at the start itself because myself and Tarun were actually having a mini little debate on call yesterday. We were playing FIFA and
Yep.
we couldn't actually come to a consensus on who the openers are. So this is going to be a very fun episode, I presume. And Arjun can be the mediator and decide. So okay, yeah. Sorry,
I think
before
openers we can start by getting the easy one out of the way. I think Rohit Sharma is a shoe in. There's no debate as to that.
Yeah, he's a captain,
yeah.
of course. Sorry,
captain,
before
there's
we
no
go
problem.
into that, I just want to put one assumption here. So we're going to assume that the pitches, let's say this particular match they're playing, it's going to be conducive for spin, conducive for pace, conducive for batting. I know it's unrealistic, but this is the best way we can come to a consensus on who to play. If not, we're going to go around in circles. Okay, so let's just put it out there. So assuming that there's something in it for everyone. Okay, let's put it that way. Okay, so coming back to Tarun's point, of course, Rohit Sharma is a guaranteed starter. He is going to be the one leading us into the World Cup. So that is a no-brainer. And now the opening partner is where the debate comes in. So Tarun is a strong advocate for Ishan Kishan, especially given his recent form. I'm not denying that he's in good form right now. He went into number 7 in the world, I think, recently, the ICC rankings. And he is performing quite well in Ireland. I mean, in Ireland. Although he got up for three or four balls yesterday.
Last match was not very good for him.
Yeah, but apart from that, generally he's in a good vein of form, especially against South Africa. That series he did score a number of runs. So that is an interesting call because a left-right combination seems quite natural for him. But then again, we also tend to overlook KL Rahul, who had a fantastic season for LSG, leading them, and they almost made it to the final. So I think we know Tarun and mine stance on this. What about you, Mr. Arjun? What do you feel? Who are
It's a
you
tough
leaning
one.
towards? Yeah.
I'm still leaning towards Rahul because I just think he's if amongst all the Indian batsmen, especially looking at the IPL, he's been the most consistent the last 4 or 5 years. Even Rohit is up and down. Rohit's always been that kind of player. But I just feel like Rahul, the amount of runs he scores consistently, and it's usually him that the team relies on, or whichever IPL team set. So I don't know. I just think that he's got such a good pedigree for this format that it seems very tough to leave him out. But at the same time, if you look back at last year's T20 World Cup, he didn't really impress me much, to be honest. He scored runs, but he only scored runs when we couldn't qualify anymore. Like, I think that's one of my biggest complaints is that he doesn't seem to thrive under pressure. And after what happened last year, there's only going to be a lot more pressure on us this year to
Perform, right?
I guess get back to like what we are expected to do. So that's the big point there for me.
Yep.
It's a very tricky one.
It's a very tricky one, yes. For me, my gut will go with Rahul as well, because for me, first off, he's more experienced, clearly a lot more experienced, and he has been in a good vein of form. I think he's just been unlucky with injuries. Otherwise, he'll be starting every match, especially in the South Africa series. Secondly, he's also had a lot of experience playing in Australia before. He made his test debut there, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I think the conditions aren't that foreign to him. Maybe Ishan Kishan, I'm not sure if he's played a match in Australia before, but I'm pretty sure that KL Rahul is a lot more used to the pace and bounce the wicket. As opposed to Ishan Kishan. So those two are my main reasons for believing that KL Rahul is probably a better fit. But then again, Ishan Kishan has the X factor. He is that player who is unpredictable. On his day, he can simply just rip apart the opposition. As a CSK fan, it hurts for me to say it, but yeah, he's a darn good player. He really is. But yeah, Tarun, thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, my intention for choosing Kishan over Rahul is that I feel that Kishan is a bit more of an explosive batsman, which is a very good quality to have at the start, especially when you partner him alongside someone like Rohit Sharma, I feel like Rohit Sharma is more similar to KL Rahul in that they can both take it a bit slower at the start and they can take it very long into the innings. I don't see Ishan Kishan as that kind of batsman, but you need a good start, and Ishan Kishan is there to put the runs on the scoreboard in the power play and stuff like that. So, I think we all know the importance of power play runs, and I feel that Ishan Kishan is better suited to getting those on the board, especially when you put him alongside someone like Rohit Sharma. Plus, of course, left-right combination is always nice to have, but it is not that big a factor for me personally. But it is a small advantage.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point you make, because typically, Rohit Sharma, I like to see him when he buys his time a bit more, and Ishan Kishan playing the aggressive role. But yeah, for me, I feel like even with Rahul, you have that same kind of explosive batsman. One of them can can sort of put the foot on the accelerator and score some runs early on. So yeah,
they could, like, they're both Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul are definitely capable of playing an explosive innings at the start as well. But I just feel that both of them thrive better as a long-standing batsman, whereas Kishan is the more. He just gets the runs on the board at the start.
I think that's a reasonable call. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you on that part. But just based on overall experience, I would still go for Rahul. So let's just take a quick vote. Since three of us, at least we won't have a tie. So for me, it's going to be Rahul and Rohit. Arjun?
I have to agree, but to be honest, I'm not really filled with confidence about any of our opponents right now. But that's another point. Yeah.
Okay, since you brought that up, do you think Rohit is actually undroppable? Given his
if he's not captain, then honestly,
if he's not captain, I don't think he's undroppable.
Yeah,
I honestly don't think he is.
I know we're contradicting ourselves. We literally just said that Rohit's a sure starter, but
no, he is a sure starter because he has been named captain, and they're not going to drop him as captain anytime soon. So as long as he's captain, I would think he's a sure starter. But the moment that goes away from him, if that goes away from him for this World Cup, let's say, then he's not a sure starter for me.
Okay. In that case, okay, let's assume Rohit is the captain, which is most likely going to be the case. That then begs the question on who is going to be, or rather the number 3 spot, where we have the King Kohli at number 3, who is in questionable form, who isn't the captain. And yeah, that is an interesting. What do you guys feel like? Which side of the spectrum are you guys? Kohli in or Kohli out?
I'm Kohli in, but honestly, there's just so much question marks over I feel like it's we're hitting a transition period soon. this era of batsmen,
Yeah.
we have to probably look past them at some point or sooner rather than later. So, but I mean, for this T20 World Cup, there's no way we're dropping Kohli. Like it's just it's the same thing with Rohit. Like their experience in ICC tournaments are valuable. I remember like when like Dhawan used to do the same thing. He wouldn't do anything for like the the normal internationals, and then suddenly at the World Cup he's scoring hundreds for fun. And I'm like, oh okay, I guess that's why they get that's why they get backed. Like they pull out the good stuff and when you need to see it. So yeah, in that sense, I won't be unhappy if we back them, like Rohit and Kohli, both of them.
Yeah. Okay, fair call. Yeah, I mean, I'm always Kohli. I'm always been a big. In fact, I sympathize with him this season more than anything because the guy has been on top for so long, and it's only natural that he has one off season. It was just unfortunate that how off it was this season for him. I'm not sure of his stats. Maybe one of you can pull out the stats, but yeah, it's just really like, to me is pressure situation. Kohli is your man. Simple as that. Whether it's a chase, whether it's a few wickets down early. Let's say we get 3 wickets down. Kohli is your man. He is going to be there in the pressure situation. He's been there, done that. He's a class batsman. So for me, it's maybe a few months ago this wouldn't have been a debate, but I still feel he has not digressed to a point where he needs to be dropped. I just feel he still has a lot more to offer for the team. And as Arjun mentioned, yeah, he's Kohli. He cannot not play to me. Yeah, he just cannot be dropped.
Yeah, I mean Kohli, I'm still very much on the fence, to be very honest. Like if you see this year alone, or you see from like last year alone, I don't think he deserves a spot in the team. But he, like you guys said, he is a player who can produce something special when you need it the most, and I feel like that does warrant a spot for him.
Okay.
Because in the end, he's still a phenomenal batsman. He's a world-class player, very good fielder also, and a very good leader on the field. So,
yeah,
I mean, I guess I will lean towards Kohli in for this World Cup.
Okay, so I think let's just recap on our top 3. So I'm guessing since Arjun said Rahul as well, so I'm guessing we're going with Rahul by majority. So Rohit and Rahul opening, and Kohli at number 3. And let's then move on to number 4, which actually there are a lot of names which can be thrown around, quite honestly. So let me just, I mean, any of you can suggest some names. So let me start it off. With Sky, Rishabh Pant, Deepak Huda, who scored a century yesterday, a magnificent knock. I don't know if you guys watched the highlights, but yeah, he seems to be one of the best batsmen for India right now. I mean, Ireland have pretty decent bowling. I wouldn't say bad bowling, decent bowling. They bowl about mid 130s, and yeah, he was playing it comfortably. He is in very, very good form. So out of nowhere, Deepak Huda has put himself in contention. So that is another talking point, I guess. Who else am I missing? Am I missing someone?
Hardik Pandya.
Someone? Yeah, Hardik at 4, but I mean, Hardik makes it to the team either way. That's the thing.
Yeah, he'll be lower down the order.
Like he will be low. Unlikely he'll play number 4, but
5 or 6, maybe.
Probably 5 or 6. Yeah, I'm guessing 5. But yeah, let's not jump the gun. So number 4. Who is it? Who is your number 4, boys?
Did we mention Shreyas Iyer?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
exactly what I was going to say.
That's a huge number.
Shreyas Iyer.
Huge, yeah. So exactly. So anyone else we're missing? I'm pretty sure there are some big names you might be leaving out.
Would you push DK up to 4? I don't know, because of how in form he is.
Nope.
Or you prefer him as the
finisher? He's a proper.
He's a specialist. He's a specialist finisher. That's why he's in the team.
Yeah.
He is true. Yeah. So there is no way that.
I mean, I feel like it'll probably be Panther, like given.
Okay, let's not put it this way. I know it'll be Pant most likely, but who do you want to? Who do you think deserves to be number 4?
I always wanted to see Sky back in number 4 spot, but that's just my personal bias because I just like the way he plays his shots.
I mean, honestly, I like Sky a lot too.
But he hasn't been hasn't been in the best of his form. Like
No, he's been
recently.
injured. He's been injured most of the time recently. So I don't think it's fair to criticize his form per se. I think whenever he's given a chance, even yesterday he scored a quick fire 15 of 4 balls or something, which is I mean, quite. Look at the strike rate; it's pretty mad. The guy is timing it very well. Even the shot he played, I mean, how he got out was quite unlucky because the shot was on. The execution was just a bit off. In that he played a bit late. I mean, yeah, I know I'm maybe microanalyzing a bit too much on that particular shot, but I still feel like he has a lot to offer. The number 4. See, my pick is for me is between two. I feel okay. First of all, I feel Punt should be dropped on his form. If I'm being completely honest, I don't think T20 is his best format. I mean, a few years ago, you never thought you'd say that because he's such an explosive batsman. But I just feel like the captaincy for Delhi. First, okay, let's start with Delhi first. Yeah, I just feel the captaincy. Ever since he took the captaincy, his form as a batsman hasn't been the greatest. I feel like he is not one of those guys who thrives under the captaincy pressure. There are some people who are just made for that role. I feel like Hardik Pandya is made for that. Like people who perform better with the captaincy, but I just feel like Pant isn't one of them. Pant is probably better if he's backed as just a player. Maybe a senior player in the dressing room, I think that suits him better. Like, Sachin was never a great captain. That's the same way I see Pant. He's a great player, don't get me wrong, but he's probably not the best captain we have. I mean, of course, he's not going to captain anything. I'm just saying that he, as long, I just feel like the captaincy put some sort of shackle on him, even for I'm talking about even his IPL team. So once that sort of burden is removed, I feel like we will start seeing the old Pant again, the guy with no fear who just goes for it. Right now, I just feel like he is in two minds. He's not sure whether to go full out or play according to the situation. I feel like he's still finding that right balance. You see, look at Test cricket, for example. I feel like he is figured out Test cricket. Generally speaking, he knows when to attack, what are his shots, because he has a luxury of time. But as T20,
I think even ODI, honestly, like his last
ODI
few knocks in the ODI were really, really good. Really well
absolutely.
constructed.
Absolutely.
His shot selection was so much better than his T20s. I don't know why.
I think maybe the lack of time.
So frazzled.
Lack of time, responsibility. I mean, a combination of factors basically. I feel is weighing him down. And I would like to see him free of his captaincy shackle. Yeah, from there I think that's where I see him automatically go into the squad. Until then, for me, it's like question mark. Unless he drastically improves his form or something like that. I'm talking about T20s. I would be surprised to see him score a century in this Test match or something against England. So that's my reasoning. And if I haven't mentioned it, I would go for Shreyas Iyer over Sky for me. Even though I didn't mention his name just now among the number 4 candidates, but I think Shreyas Iyer has been a loyal servant for Indian cricket. He was unlucky in terms of him losing his captaincy to Rishabh Pant for DC, and then he went into KKR. KKR as a team, maybe not the best we've seen over the years, but I still feel he has had a lot of very good standalone performances, and he is someone you can depend on. I feel he's a dependable batsman. Sky is also, I mean, I'm not discounting Sky, but for me, I think Shreyas just takes it, just has that bit extra to offer. So maybe I'm a bit biased, I don't know, but I'll probably pick Shreyas Iyer over Sky. Tarun?
I am going to back Sky on this. I know you said we have to look at the pitches as good for bowling, good for spin, pace, everything equally, but I feel like it does tend to be a bit more of a pace-based pitch, and Shreyas has struggled a bit with pace.
Okay.
Especially when you look at recent times. So I feel like Sky has a bit more of a better overall game, a more all-rounded game. And I mean, we don't even have to say
Sky reacts better to the short ball.
He is a very good player in all aspects of it, of batting for sure. And I think that's what that's what makes me put him slightly higher than Shreyas. Of course, Shreyas is an excellent batsman. I'm not discounting that, but I just feel that it's going to be a tournament in a country that might suit Sky a little bit more.
I think that's a fair call. I'm not going to argue on that point because I think Shreyas Iyer is definitely quite uncomfortable with the short ball. That is his, I would say, one weakness in his game. He always looks very uncomfortable playing the short ball. Even in the last series I saw him playing in Australia, he did not look very convincing against the short ball. So he had some weird ways. Whereas Sky has that natural. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched I'm pretty sure you haven't watched the Ireland highlights yet, right? So he played a very similar shot. Oh, you watched? Okay.
I watched that. Yeah.
Oh, you watched, is it? Yeah. So he played a very similar shot to that when he first faced Jofra Archer, the first ball six. Remember on his debut? Yeah, he has that sort of hook shot over fine leg, which I mean it's really. I mean that's his way of combating the short ball, and I think that will come very in handy in Australia. So on that point, I agree definitely with you. But for me, Shreyas Iyer just takes it because of what he's done for Indian cricket and in the IPL for so many years. So tough call, but since this was our rule, so since majority of you guys, two out of three voted for Sky, we will have him at number 4. And yeah, looks like we're going to be dropping one, boys.
He might still come in down the order. You never know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so top 4 settled. Let's move on to number 5.
I think 5. We don't have to talk too much, right? We kind of already said. It's most likely going to be Hardik.
Yeah. Especially if he's bowling again, he has to be in that team.
Yeah,
it's too valuable to leave out.
Yep. So let's. I'll assume it's going to be Hardik. So number 5, Hardik. Potentially for me, he is captaincy material. I think.
I mean, we can't switch captaincy like hot potato.
No. As in, like, okay. I mean, if I was
in the future, maybe.
If I was a selector, I would probably put Hardik as a captain. I think he has looked the most comfortable in captaincy since Dhoni, if I were to be perfectly honest. Maybe Rohit comes close. I mean, his record is very, very good. Don't get me wrong, but I haven't seen anyone thrive under captaincy like Hardik Pandya in recent times. That's all. I know it's maybe not a very long barometer. He's only been captain for one IPL season.
One IPL season.
IPL season. But I just feel the way he led the team.
He's one of one, so fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, it is an achievement. Don't get me wrong. Like being new franchise, the team wasn't even given a chance, and that guy went all the way to the final, and he won the final. They finished top in the league stages and finished.
He just looked like them from the start, to be honest.
Yeah, they were on it all the while.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So that's why for me, like, I just feel like he is a better player as a captain. So I would back him as captain personally, but of course, I think probably majority of you guys would favor Rohit.
I mean, for World Cup, I guess he could be a vice captain.
Vice captain.
That's a pretty good role for him.
I think that's a good shot for vice captain for him.
Who knows? He could take over for the next ICC tournament. It's not beyond possible.
Good chance.
Because Rohit is pretty old as well.
Yeah, it might be time to pass the baton. But I mean, I just give a moment to appreciate Hardik Pandya from being dropped from the Indian squad, bringing in Venkatesh Iyer, who by the way before the IPL was in fantastic form. Man was front and center for India. Now he can't even get a place. I mean, he barely made it to the Ireland squad. He's unlucky, perfectly. I mean, it's understandable, but Hardik Pandya, fair play. I heard that he woke up like 6 a.m. every day, trained hard three times a day, and I mean, I think the rewards are there for him to see. He's sort of established himself as a senior player from being out of the squad to a senior player, potential captain. I mean, it's just amazing. Speaks volumes of his work ethic and dedication to the sport. So fair play. I'm quite happy to see him back, if I'm perfectly honest. I always liked Hardik Pandya as a player. So yeah, good to see him back. And number 5. So I think that's I think won't be debated anyway. So with that out of the way, let's move on to our number 6 batsman. So who do we have, boys?
I want to say Jadeja. Will you back?
Good question. Jadeja number 6. That's a very good question. Okay, first of all, I don't even think Jadeja will make it to the T20 squad. Okay, he will make it to the squad. Maybe I don't think he'll start. In all honesty.
Are you saying that because of like fitness, or is it just the season he said?
I don't think he will start based on the season. I feel like there are better all-rounders out there. Personally, this is my I wouldn't even be surprised to see Deepak Huda at number 6, given his form. He can bowl as well. But okay, if for me, the number 6 batsman, I would put a wicket-keeper batsman in Dinesh Karthik. Perfect to finish the innings, or if we lose some early wickets for him to come in, because he basically has every shot in the book at this point. He's at the stage in his career where he's probably one of the most experienced players in the team. He's been in and out. He played India's first T20. I mean, you guys would have seen the hype around his 50 against South Africa. So yeah, I mean, he's proven himself in the IPL. For me, he's a sure starter.
For me, DK is in the team also. It's just the order
number 6 or number 7.
Who comes out, whether him
Personally,
or Jadoo for me.
I would put DK at number 6. Jadoo for me doesn't even make it to the squad. But are you all happy with DK number 6, or would you guys prefer coming down?
I think that makes sense. I like the DK. The thing about DK is it's really based on what stage of the game it is at, and it's not really about where is he coming in.
I think he can be a bit of floater, honestly.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that is true, but because this will also determine if you want to play more bowlers or more all-rounders, that is why I'm sort of asking whether you guys want to put him at number 6 as we're listing down the squad. So for now, let's tentatively keep it at number 6, and then we can see if he can float around later on. So number 7, Tarun mentioned Jadeja.
My 7 would be Jadoo, but I don't know about you guys.
Arjun, who's your call for number 7?
I know Jadoo hasn't had the best IPL, but I just feel like you have to back him. Like he's such
he gets in on the same qualifications as Kohli for me.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like he's been so dependent, like down the order, like across all the 3 formats. I just feel like I mean, he's not exactly the biggest wicket taker, but he keeps things tidy more often than not. So I just feel like I would rather back him over Deepak Huda. Like Deepak Huda has recently shown some good form, yes, but who has the better track record? For me, it's Jadoo. So I would still back him to be in the team, despite his struggles recently.
Okay. You have Deepak Huda, you have Akshar Patel. You can also potentially bring in Washington Sundar if he's fit.
Unlikely though, right?
So I think that's quite unlikely. Yeah.
Washi a bit difficult for him.
Honestly, I think he didn't have that bad an IPL season, if I'm being perfectly honest. I just think SRH struggled a lot, but he individually wasn't that bad a player. He was just unlucky with injuries. He showed a lot of, in a few glimpses of his batting prowess in T20s, which we haven't seen in a couple of seasons before this. So that was good to see. Which is why, of course, there's a bit of bias, don't get me wrong, but I would like to see him play number 7, number 8. I think he offers, as we all know, watching for his power play overs, maybe not as effective as before because maybe people have found him out, but he's still handy with the bat, handy with the ball, great in the field. I would probably back him, but given the majority vote as usual, we will put Jadoo in at number 7. And let's move on down the order. So we have 4 more players left here? 8, 9, 10, 11. So honestly, this can be shuffled. We can sort of
you were getting into the bowlers
territory. So 8, 9, 10, 11. So let's assume if let's say we're playing Jadeja, we have 1 spinner. Would you guys play 1 spinner or 2 spinners in Australia?
I think UZ has to get in. I feel like UZ is less droppable than Jadeja.
Oh, of course. Okay. I think
I think that's fair. That's fair.
That's the thing though. If you're going to play UZ, who turns it away from the right-hander, would you play Jadeja? I know Jadeja is a big turner, but would you play 2 bowlers who sort of turn the ball the same way? Would you rather play an off-spinner in like maybe Deepak Huda, Washington Sundar, or someone else?
Maybe Akshar Patel might have a
Ravi
shot.
Ashwin.
The thing is, Akshar Patel and Ravi Ashwin is
actually,
very tough call. I don't think he's going to get a chance.
He probably doesn't have a plug. Yeah.
He's probably not. It's a bit difficult for him to make a comeback.
Obviously, I'm biased towards Ashwin, so I really think he should get in, but I don't think he will.
Correct. Yeah, the thing, see, that's the thing. Like for me, Akshar Patel and Jadeja, they are both the same kind of players. Both are all rounders who spin it away from the right hander. And when you have Yuzi who's doing the same thing with his leg spin, would you rather play an off spinner in maybe Deepak Huda, for example? Like personally, I would. That's why I sort of thought of bringing in an off spinner instead of a left arm spinner. What do you guys feel? Do you think that someone else deserves a spot over Jadeja or Aksa? Or are you more comfortable sticking with Jadeja?
I just feel like I had to back Jadeja. Like it's like
It's
the
like
the,
Kohli.
No, again,
the bad run
and
of form hasn't been that long. Like even like
Mm.
Kohli has been, I don't know, like doing this mediocre stuff for like 2 or 3 years, or like let's be honest.
I mean,
Rohit is
he's-
always up and down. So I feel like Jadeja, who's been in the form of his life for, let's say, the better part of last 2 or 3 or 4 years comfortably, and he has had one poor IPL. Let's be honest, I think that the poor performance has more to do with the fact that he was captain rather than his own form tailing off. I feel like it was just him not being able to deal with the pressure. I mean, when was the last time we saw him drop catches like that? He just
Yeah.
got to his head. Like, to be honest, I think he's
Yeah.
still form wise. I still think he's mint. Like he's ready to go. He's in the prime
Okay.
years of his life. He should play for me.
Okay, then let's stick with Jadeja then. So we'll have two players
Yeah, I
who
think-
turn it square.
I mean, this goes again going back to what you said about like treating the pitches as equal spin and pace favorites. I don't think that's going to be the case. So would it really make that much difference if we do have an off spinner or like someone who can spin it into a right hander versus Yuzi?
it just gives you more variety in your bowling. That's all it is actually. I mean, I talk about not having the same kind of spinners, but they started both Aksar and Yuzi in the South Africa series. So
That's right.
it's just more of like it's just for a matter of a point of discussion. That's all. That's all. I personally would prefer someone who can turn one person turning it the other way or another person turning it into the right hander. But yeah, that's just more of just a point of discussion rather than anything else. So assuming Jadeja and Chahal starts, so we have 2 spinners out of the way. Now we have 3 quicks, and this is where it gets interesting for me. So I think Bhuvi is a sure starter. Bhuvi has
Bumrah.
Bhuvi and Bumrah.
Bumrah is
We kind of forgot about yeah.
Bumrah
Bumrah is
has
pretty much
to be
guaranteed also.
there.
That's 2
Yeah.
kicks in. Yeah.
Okay, so Bhuvi and
Bhuvi's
Bumrah.
form
So,
has been pretty good recently
Yeah.
as well. So
So Bhuvi and Bumrah will definitely start. And okay, so I think I sort of forgot about Bumrah because he didn't play in the South Africa series. So that I don't know if it makes it harder or easier. We sort of have only
so
one
many
spot.
names that you could pick.
Exactly. So let me just throw a few in. Of course, the first name that pops up, Umran Malik. He's been in the news. He's a sensation, pace sensation. And you have Harshal Patel, who's very, very good. Especially recent years, he showed that he's not just like a one season wonder. He had a pretty good IPL last season as well. He was especially death bowling wise. The slow balls
Got
really
slapped by Ireland though yesterday.
Yeah, but when someone is chasing 220, it is.
Yeah.
You do
Someone
have
is
your
going to
off
get
days.
screwed.
Exactly.
and
Someone
we'll
is
see
going
now.
to get blasted, and yeah, it happened to be him. So Harshal is there. You have Ashdeep Singh, who is also a very good bowler. He hasn't had a chance yet, but in the IPL, I would say he's one of the
That's
top
excellent in
Indian
the
paces.
test. Yeah.
Yeah, he nails his Yorkers really, really well, and sort of sometimes goes under the radar because of Umran Malik and his pace. Am I missing anyone else out?
Avesh
Shami?
Khan.
Avesh Khan, yes, sorry, Avesh Khan starts nowadays. I personally, I think Avesh Khan is a very good bowler, but he's not my number. He wouldn't be my number one go-to in T20s. That's just my.
I feel like wait, did Tarun mention Shami just now?
Yeah, Shami.
Yeah, I
Not
feel like
Shami,
the form he was in the IPL, it might be the old reliable, honestly. The the 3 paces we've been used to for a while, even with all these names.
Is it Shami? Okay, for me personally, I would go with Harshal. Given the fact that Bhuvi is going to be your line length, Bumrah is pace, and your death bowling. And it's just very useful to have Harshal in the team as someone who can bowl both the. I mean, I can imagine him bowling the middle overs, the tough overs, and at the same time, at the depth, it's not only Bhuvi and Bumrah. You also have another variety in Harshal Patel who can give his slower balls. And yeah, I just feel he offers a bit more variety Whereas if you play the other pacers like Shami, I feel Shami, Bumrah, Shami and Bumrah are very similar bowlers. They just seam bowlers. Whereas you have a somewhat different element in Harshal Patel with his cutters and slower balls. So that's pretty much the only reason why, more for the balance of the team more than anything else. I would rather have Harshal. But yeah, I think for me, Shami, Umran Malik, Avesh Khan, all these names fall under the same category because they sort of bowl the same stuff. Good quality fast bowling. That's their strength. That's why I would pick Harshal over the three of them personally. Where are you, Tarun?
Actually, I will have to agree with your point about variety, because obviously you have good quality fast bowling, you have a lot of options, but Harshal has a slower ball, and that is absolutely deadly. I've seen so many wickets he's taken with the slower ball. Just when he nails his stump to stump balls, it's beautiful to watch also. So
yeah,
I think I will have to back Harshal to take that.
Okay, finally a win today. So we picked Harshal for the final spot in our T20.
But that said, I think it's still up for rotation here and there, like.
Of course, of course. This is not. See, I mean, I see Umran Malik, for example, making it to the T20 squad because of simply the hype, and of course he delivered yesterday. He defended the last over. He's definitely going to Australia. I can guarantee that. Barring injury, touch wood. But I think that this is obviously not going to be the 11 that starts every time. I mean, we drop punch like a one. We all know that probably that's not going to happen. Given the fact they have backed Punt before, they're going to back him again. So yeah, I mean it's just interesting to see what happens. Who they pick for the 11. We never know. Maybe there are some names that might make a surprise appearance who we are yet to see. And I think that's Vijay Shankar, absolutely. How could we leave the man out?
Vijay Shankar. Might as well bring Raidu back on. Number 4.
Oh, we should. Raidu and Uttapad open.
Bahubali.
Shivam Dubey.
Oh my god. Long levers. Come on.
Long levers.
You've rushed 2.0.
So there you have it, folks. That's our XI. Let us know if you agree with it or not. You can let us know on the YouTube comments or Insta, whichever you prefer. And you can join in a healthy debate and maybe give us your best XI going into the Australian World Cup. And with that, we've come to the end of our episode. So the meeting is going to end, so I don't want to give Tarun the message, man. You guys know where to follow us. I'm pretty sure.
All links are in the descriptions, guys.
Yes,
absolutely.
Thank you so much for your support, guys. We've actually kept up our word. We've uploaded within a week. So hopefully this continues, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of the Next Team podcast. Bye-bye.
Ciao, guys.
See you guys.